Hey there, welcome to Synth Seeker. My name is Luke. This is going to be a lower quality video than usual because my family and I are in the middle of moving. I posted a couple, I think I posted a picture of it a week or two ago. We're packing up the house. The studio's completely packed away. It looks like this right now. Here's a quick pan and scan through what is the corner of the bedroom that used to be the studio. And so what I wanted to do today was really just try and entertain you a little bit with a production log. I think this is number 6, number 5, number 6. I don't know. I'm bouncing around a lot. I'm working. I had been working on this album for a long time, but I've decided. Posted a poll to it. I think I'm going to split it up into EPs. I think the EP format is the right format for what I want to do. I like to tell these musical stories, and I like the idea of a concept album, but my output is so low. I'm so slow in making things that it can be, 2 or 3 years between albums for me. And I don't really want to do singles because it's hard to maintain, it's hard to tell a story with a single, at least for me. I'm sure other people do it, but what I've decided to do is do these EPs. So we're talking, 10 to 25 minutes of music, anywhere from one extended piece to 3 short pieces or something in between. And that's sort of the format I'm going to sort of work in. But since we're in the middle of the move and I'm locked down, my studio basically looks like this. It's the laptop. I've got these external drives that contain all of my samples and instruments and things like that because I don't have enough space on this laptop's internal SSD. I just opted early on for the smallest SSD that I could afford. Well, the largest I could afford ended up being the smallest that they offered. Hopefully that'll change after the first of the year. I'm going to upgrade this. But this is it. That's the studio right now. A pair of headphones. Not even a control surface at this point. I am just editing MIDI by hand. And what I wanted to do today was basically show you part of this. It's a production log. So this is what I'm working on. I have about 12 tracks in the works. This is one of them. And I thought this one was interesting because it is a weird melange. Has anyone seen Dune? It's an awesome movie. Go see Dune. Anyway, but this track is this weird sort of mixture of a lot of different musical ideas. And the way I sort of compose, the way I sort of build my tracks together is I generally start with a piano and a bass guitar. And I just work out the melodies and the harmonies with those instruments. Even though I make synth music, I'm like going to replace a lot of these with synthesizer sounds. But when I'm trying to work through, especially a long piece like this piece is about 15 minutes long, with distinct sections, I think it's easier for me just to work with some basic timbres, pianos and bass. So if you hope to watch this video hoping that I would do a lot of synth noises, I'm afraid not. There's a little synth in here, but it's mostly piano and bass. And what I was going to do for this video is basically play through, this is effectively the composition track, almost a temp track of bass and guitar. Of what's going on, I'm going to walk you through, just let it play and talk over it a bit. Occasionally when it gets repetitive or boring, I'll pause, I'll jump ahead, things like that. That'll get edited down to be something hopefully entertaining and a little insight into how I make music. All right, so let's drill into this. Give me a minute and get zoomed in, and I'll start the track playing and we can talk. All right, here we go. All right, so the opening is basically this walking, this melody line just sort of walking up. It's like we're climbing up a hill or something like that, and we're going to slowly pick up our speed, pause, and then fall. We're going to fall off the edge into the rest of the piece. While we let that sustain, we're going to bring in a rhythmic part. This is running in 5/8. And we're in G Mixolydian. And the bass is going to run around on G, just vamp. And the piano gives us our melody. We repeat that melody, adding a harmony line. And then we move to G Phrygian. And now we're in 6/8. One thing about this piece, this kind of piece I like to do, there's small inner repetition, but we're moving from theme to theme to theme. We're going to move through about 8 or 9, 10 different themes. All right, that's our basic chord progression here. We're in C minor, and our bass is arpeggiating up. Now we'll repeat the piano part, just a different rhythmic pattern, and the bass arpeggiates down. And this is a transition to let us get into B-flat mixolydian. Now here's a repeating figure, and we've introduced a little rhythm. This is just temp-track rhythm parts. We repeat with a harmony on top of that. And inject a little energy into the bass. Maintain the same piano part, just spread it out across an octave, and the bass plays the melody. Meter change, we're in 4/4. We push into F Dorian, and it's just another mood. Right, we're telling a story here. We're going to move through these different segments as though they're different moods. There may be a voiceover. I'm not sure if there's going to be like a spoken sort of story, or if it's just going to be implied and the listener can make their own story up as they go. And now a sudden transition. We're going to go just unison. We've picked up the tempo. Gone back to 6/8. I'm going to repeat that progression. And we're going to transition into, we're going to repeat this progression again, but we're going to change the meter and the tempo again. It's almost like half time or double time, depending on how you look at it. And then we've got another transition. Just sort of building here, building to some sort of dramatic point in the story, to another sort of drop fall. I'm envisioning some kind of voiceover here, or a sample, you know, playing a vocal sample of someone saying something over this to move the story forward. And now we're in the down-tempo section, the sad parts. another key change coming up. Go to F minor. I like to alternate between the bass doing the sort of vocal melody, the singing, and the piano doing it. And here the bass is doing it. We repeat again and we're basically adding some sevenths on top of it on the piano part. Changing up the harmony just a little bit. And then we go into a driving part. Again, the rhythm is just a temp track. Eventually I'll go through here and put in something more serious. But it gets the point across. Getting ready to move into 5/8, and so we're still in 4/4, but I'm playing a 5/8 rhythm through it with a few added extra notes to fill out the 4/4 bars, and then we're going to transition into 5/8 here. Again, bass is playing the melody here. I need to develop this. This is just a placeholder in the piano part. Right? This ostinato repeating over and over. Right. So there's a story about this next segment coming up. This is a longer bit. This is an actual song that I've embedded in this. This is a song that's been beating around my hard drive for 15 years. There is a little synth part playing in there as well. So this song's called Charcoal and Amber. It's based on a short story a friend of mine wrote when I was right out of high school. The song takes place in sort of a Arabian Nights sort of setting. And so what I'm trying to get across here is sort of the desert at night. I do a lot of stuff in odd time signatures. This is in 5. I really like the feel of 5/8. Trying to build here. Falling again. All right, real simple right now. It's just these three parts, and I've got to develop this into something a bit more full. But this is just insight. And there's even a few, maybe notes that are slightly more dissonant than the final version will be. There's your desert feel. move into sort of the final sort of coda, more variation on the original theme. I'm working up to a key change here. Not here, but this is the transition. I may edit this down. It's just a little long for my taste, but in the moment, it felt right. And here's the key change. You're going to have to imagine this with a huge orchestration. A lot going on here in the final version. In my mind's eye, I can hear just basically a full orchestra, or just the thickest synths you can think of, just blaring. Rock drums. We're going to have some guitar in there, I'm sure, or heavily distorted synth. I've got an old track on a couple albums ago called "The Price of Victory." That's the sort of tone we're going to be going for here. And then we move out into another piece, and this is just a function of the fact that I cannot. I get into this mode where I start adding parts and adding parts and adding parts, and adding new ideas, and they just sort of transition all together. This may not make it into the final one. It's a little too, I don't know, too bubblegum. I may just end with the whole desert story bit will be the end of this track, and this might end up being somewhere else. But anyway, so basically, we're approaching the end of this. Here's some insight. This is production log number 6 into how I compose my music. I basically start with 2 very simple sounds. I start with piano and bass, or maybe an interesting synth sound, and I start working out my harmonies and melodies and rhythmic patterns and what I want to do with it, and basically start stringing these interesting bits together. If I'm working in single mode, I'll select the 2 or 3 that I really like that work well together, and then arrange them into a piece with like an A-B section, A-B, A-B, C, something like that. Or if it's going to be a long form piece like this, what are we at, 14 minutes now? It's just strings of themes and thought ideas and musical sort of motion moving through as we go. And really, that's about it. So this is what I'm currently working on in my tiny non-existent studio. And I thank you if you've listened this long to my sort of work in progress. And as always, you have been watching Synth Seeker. Have a great week. Talk to you later.